Hello there and welcome to my thoughts and reaction to the Champions League quarter-final draw and also the semi-final draw as well. We're going to go through all of the teams that are involved and who they're facing, and then also the semi-finals that could possibly happen depending on what happens in the quarter-final games as well. Let me know what you think of the whole draw, but also let's take a particular focus on Liverpool, our team as well, and who they'll be facing. Let's have a look right now at who we are all going to be facing. So, straight in, you can see Manchester City versus Dortmund. You got Porto versus Chelsea, Bayern Munich versus PSG. That's going to be a big clash between those two as well. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, those were the guys that met in the final as well. And then you've got Real Madrid versus Liverpool, a repeat of the 2018 Champions League final. We don't want to remember that ourselves a great deal, but still, there's an opportunity here for Liverpool to possibly get some revenge, but also hopefully, put in some good performances as well. So let's have a quick look at the semi-final draws as well. Semi-final one possibilities is Bayern Munich Bayern Munich or PSG versus Man City or Dortmund. Killer game, whatever happens either way, whether it's Bayern versus Dortmund, Bayern versus City, or PSG versus City, PSG versus Dortmund. Could be a really good set of games there anyway. And then obviously we get Real Madrid or Liverpool versus Porto or Chelsea. Now, I don't want to face a Premier League team that has recently beaten us. just my opinion, but no, honestly, belting games, whatever happens here, regardless of the fact that we've beaten Porto in the Champions League every time we've faced them recently, or at least knocked them out in two-legged games and stuff like that. Still be a tough game, whatever happens. And you know what, Real Madrid could go through as well. They could certainly beat Liverpool, and they could go through, and that would still be a very good competitive game. Chelsea would be the harder fixture out of those two for definite. It's just you just know it is. I don't even really need to say that anyway. So what we're going to do is going to go through all of the teams, and I actually want to start with Liverpool first of all, and just have a look at how we actually got there. So we got there by playing 6 times, 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. The 1 loss was against Atalanta. I think it was 2-0 in that game. Relatively pretty comfortable in the end. Much more comfortable than the last time we actually won the Champions League. I think we were tied with Napoli on points, and for some reason, I think it was like either goals or head-to-head, whatever it was, we went through. This time around, we actually went through pretty comfortably. We knew we were actually going to make it through. Ajax weren't going to make it this time around, and Atalanta did make it along with us, but are no longer in the competition either. Since then, we went and played RB Leipzig, which we all felt was going to be a much more difficult tie than it actually turned out to be. Very competitive, very attacking from both teams as well, very open game. But we ended up winning 4-0 on aggregate, 2-0 in both legs as well. And then we will step up and face Real Madrid in the quarterfinals as well. And that's going to be a tough task as well. We will go look at our opponents as well, and we'll try and see how they got there. Real Madrid got there 10 points. They won 3 times, drew once, and lost twice in their group. Pretty competitive group, and it was a shame not to see Inter Milan do better, but they actually finished bottom of their group. Shakhtar made it. I think Shakhtar beat Real Madrid in one of the games as well. It was a really tight group, this was. It wasn't an easy group whatsoever. That's why the points are pretty close together as well. And then they came up against Atalanta, and Real Madrid just had Atalanta for days. If anyone watched the second leg, Atalanta were just not the Atalanta that were in our group. They just looked slow. Mistakes were just too easy to make. They just weren't very competitive in those games either. So that's Real Madrid's route to playing us as well. So Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich got there. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure it was pretty dominant. They won 5 times and drew once. Apparently they are on the longest winning streak or unbeaten streak in the Champions League, and it sits at about 18 or 19 games. Only one team has gone further than that, and it was Manchester United with 25, I think. And also they are the current holders of the Champions League as well. So I mean, it's one of those things, and they're a very dominant team right now. They're doing very very well. Their route to this, they didn't necessarily have an easy group either. Atletico Madrid, difficult team. RB Salzburg can be a difficult team as well. Play good football. Locomotive, I don't know enough about them to be honest. And then they came up and faced Lazio. Lazio scored a goal in each leg, but they were done 6-2 on aggregate. Bayern Munich just just so much quality, so much quality. They really do, and it's something to behold. To be honest, it really is. One that I don't think I've actually got here. Oh no, yeah, I have. I just loaded it wrong. So PSG. Let's have a look at PSG because I was looking at the Barcelona game. Load up PSG. PSG's route to the Champions League quarter-finals was 4 wins, 2 draws. 2 losses, sorry, 12 points. Went through on equal points and more goals, less goals conceded than RB Leipzig. But yeah, that puts them top of their group, and that was their route there. Their route as well saw them come up against Barcelona, and in the first leg, it was the Mbappe show. The Mbappe show scored a hat-trick and absolutely tore Barcelona apart. There was really nothing bar a miracle of even a couple of years ago when Barcelona actually did turn around a huge deficit against PSG. That just wasn't on the cards this time. It finished 1-1 there. It was 5-2 on aggregate, and PSG went through, and that is how they come to face Bayern Munich. That is right, isn't it? I have got that right. Yeah, PSG, Bayern Munich. Okie dokie. So let's move on to Manchester City. Man City, who are dominant in the Premier League right now, absolutely, massive points ahead. Their only loss recently was to Manchester United. But their route to the Champions League quarter-finals was 16 points, same as Bayern, 5 wins, 1 draw. They conceded 1 goal in the Champions League group stage. It has to be said, Man City have been very, very good defensively this season, as well as now, adding to that attacking verve that they've got as well. They then went on to face Borussia Mönchengladbach, and similar to us, scored 2 goals in each leg, finished 4-0 on aggregate. That was their route to playing. They are playing Dortmund. Now Dortmund, they could have. I didn't actually look at their Champions League one yet, but let's have a look. 13 points in total for in the group stage, 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and then they came up and they faced Sevilla. Now Sevilla are a very difficult team to face for anybody. They really are. I think Europa League winners last season as well, and just horrifically, like they can attack really well. Just very well organised team, very well drilled. Just really, they can just cause a nightmare for many teams. And the fact that it was 5-4 on aggregate for Dortmund showed how much. I think it was the Haaland show, if anything, that really helped Dortmund in this game, because it could have gone either way. It could have gone Sevilla's way, and it could have gone Dortmund's way. It went Dortmund's way, and that's how they now find themselves facing a very, very tough prospect in facing Manchester City as well, who are definitely one of the front runners for this competition as well. And then the final set of games, or the final teams that we will look at, is Chelsea, who Chelsea have picked up incredibly well since Thomas Tuchel has took over here as well. Their Champions League qualification was 4 wins and 2 draws, same group as Sevilla. Krasnodar and Rennes didn't really offer up much from what I saw anyway, and obviously from what we can see here as well. They then came up and faced an Atletico Madrid team that are top of La Liga as well, and are no joke this season, but they seem to be faltering at the moment, Atletico Madrid, but they were just outdone by Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. Got a red card as well. Cannot remember who it was. I think it was Savic, Stefan Savic, the centre-back, got sent off. It was clinical, and it was very, very, very good football from Chelsea as well, and they won 3-0 on aggregate, and Atletico Madrid could barely lay a glove on them as well, which was quite something to behold, to be honest. We then move on to FC Porto, and their route to the quarter-finals was in Man City's group as well. 13 points, 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. Olympiacos and Marseille in that group as well, really not making much of an impression against these two teams as well. Then Porto faced what looked like a much tougher prospect than they made it look in the Champions League, and facing Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus. 2-1 in the first leg, 3-2 win for Juventus in the second leg, but on away goals, Porto went through. And there was a banging free kick in there in the second leg as well for Porto, which was just real. It was just a beautiful free kick. Beautiful free kick. And I think that pretty much covers us for everything there that we've talked about for each team. Now, how do I feel about Liverpool versus oh, I don't know where my image has gone. Never mind. How do I feel about Liverpool versus Real Madrid? Liverpool versus Real Madrid. It's going to be interesting. Really, really will be interesting because Real Madrid have been all right. They haven't been too bad. They obviously took apart Atalanta as well. I think they're actually picking things up in the league here. They're not, they're not far off Atletico Madrid. Barcelona are catching Atletico Madrid as well. These are starting to pick up their points and stuff like that. It's not as it's not as bad as Real Madrid were a couple of weeks ago, even a couple of months ago. They do, the key threat for me, from what I can see, and I will do much more analysis on this as we get on and closer to the games as well. Karim Benzema seems to be absolutely reborn the last season or two. He's scoring pretty much most of their goals, from what I can tell, and in fact I can probably find out goals. Benzema's got 15 goals. The nearest to him is Casemiro with 5, who's a CDM. Yeah, they rely a lot on Karim Benzema, but he is looking quality lately as well. And obviously, people say it's looking like it could be, looking at revenge for Kiev. Listen, it is what it is. We go having now won the Champions League with this group of players as well, with some players obviously added into the mix there, that we've had, like newer players that we've brought in and such like that. What I tend to find watching Real Madrid is that they don't always start the quickest. They don't always just come out the gates and try and hit the team that they're coming up against. They want to play, they want to pass, they want to find your weaknesses, they want to find your spaces that you're leaving and try and thread through, or exploit those sorts of spaces. It's not necessarily about pressing very, very hard, very, very tough. That is possibly somewhere that Liverpool could go, like first 10, 20, 30 minutes or something, is to try and attack. That can obviously come back and bite you in the arse, because if you attack, and obviously with our centre-backs and such like that aren't the most experienced, but they're getting much, much better as time goes on as well. It also depends on how high a line we end up playing against someone like a Real Madrid. They don't carry the threat of previous times, the previous time we faced them, which was obviously Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale, who absolutely made a mockery of us as well. Benzema was pretty decent then as well, but those two outlets on the right hand side and the left hand side aren't there anymore, but they will still carry threats. People, the reaction that I've seen on social media, it was not, I don't want to say laughable because that's disrespectful, but people were talking about facing Real Madrid almost as if we were facing like a League One team or something with our full, starting 11, our normal starting 11. That's not going to be the case against Real Madrid. They are, I think, the 13-time champions. They're the 13-time champions for a reason. They've won a good couple of them in recent years as well. So they are no mugs. They're no slouches. They've got very experienced players. Even in this list that you can just see here, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, Karim Benzema, and then you've got the likes of Sergio Ramos as well. They'll have Rafael Varane, I think. I don't know about their injury situation, whether they have one, but we'll look into all of that at a later date. But I feel confident, I feel excited by this tie. I don't look at it as revenge, I look at it as hopefully a progressive sign for us to do the best that we can and try to get to that semi-final. If we can get to the semi-final, either FC Porto or against Chelsea, I do believe that we can win these games, but we can only look what's in front of us already. Some people are already lining up that we're going to be facing Chelsea already. We can't think that far ahead. We really can't. I've got to take it game by game and what's in front of us. Do I think that we can beat this Real Madrid team? I do. Do I think that they can exploit some of our weaknesses? Of course I do. They definitely can. Teams that are much lesser than Real Madrid in terms of stature and success, even teams like Fulham, no offence, I really mean no offence to Fulham, they exploited our weaknesses. So I'm pretty sure that a Real Madrid team that maybe not the best Real Madrid team that we've seen even in recent years, they could definitely do something there. But we can also use our powers, our positivity, and exploit their weaknesses as well. Whether they are slow out the gates or not, we can definitely utilize that to our benefit. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I don't think it's going to be an easy game whatsoever unless we start like absolutely blasting them like within the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. It's going to be a difficult game, a good tactical game as well. And I'm excited to see the rest of the ties as well. I really am. I think some of these ties are going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be really entertaining football as well on show. I think that's pretty much what all these ties should guarantee. There's no real like park the bus merchants or anything like that left in the Champions League. From if I just remember quickly anyway, I don't think so. I think everyone's going to go out there and want to play on the front foot. When you got Man City versus Dortmund, you think attacking football from both. Bayern Munich versus PSG, they're going to attack. They will. And Real Madrid versus Liverpool is going to be attacking football. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what happens in the Champions League. And I really hope that Liverpool can go through and progress into the semi-final. But really, I'm just looking for good performances. And we'll take it a game at a time. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions about the Champions League and such like that. Let me know if you want me to preview the other Champions League games as well, or if you just want me to focus on Liverpool games. I'm happy to do either. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much. Please do enjoy your day. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you later.